In this morning, you open your eyes and you feel your throat feel scratchy. Your head felt heavy. Your nose started running. So you opened the medicine cabinet, grabbed a pill, swallowed it with water, and moved on with your day. You know it's no big deal. It'll be fine in a few days, and you don't even get a day off from it. As a modern human being, you have clean water, medicine, a phone, doctors somewhere nearby, an entire modern medical system quietly standing behind you, even if all you did was take one small white tablet. So you would think that colds are not a big problem, but what you don't know is that colds were definitely a big problem 50,000 years ago. Now imagine that same feeling 50,000 years ago. No thermometer, no antibiotics, no pharmacy, no urgent care. No idea what a virus is. You wake up on cold ground inside a cave. Smoke scratches your throat. Your skin is burning, but the air is freezing. Every breath feels wrong. Your stomach twists. Your bones ache. Outside, something moves in the darkness. Inside, your tribe watches you with one silent question. Are you gonna live? Today, illness is nothing but an inconvenience. Back then, sickness could erase you. A simple infected cut could kill you. A fever could become a mystery no one could explain. A parasite could drain your strength until you could no longer walk with the group. And if the group moved on without you, that was it. No hospital bed, no doctor, no recovery room. Just firelight, fear, and whatever knowledge your people had managed to steal from thousands of years of pain. But here's the strange part. Ancient humans still survived. Not all of them. Not easily. Not cleanly. But enough of them survived to become us. So how did a fragile animal with no claws, no fangs, no pharmacy, and no medical degree survive infections, parasites, broken bones, rotten teeth, fevers, wounds, childbirth, and pain? The answer is stranger than they used herbs. Because before medicine became science, it was memory. And before hospitals had walls, the first hospital may have been a circle of people around a fire. One of the most powerful clues comes from Shanidar cave in northern Iraq. There, archaeologists found the remains of a Neanderthal man known as Shanidar I. His bones tell a story that should not make sense. One arm was badly damaged. His vision was impaired. His hearing may have been poor. His body showed signs of long-term pain, injury, and disability. By the brutal rules of the Ice Age, he should have died young. He could not have been the fastest hunter. He could not have fought off predators alone. He could not have gathered food like everyone else. And yet, he lived for years. How? Someone fed him. Someone protected him. Someone helped him move. Someone decided that a wounded person was still worth keeping alive. And that's not even the most surprising thing. This means care for the sick may be older than writing, farming, cities, and civilization itself. The first medicine may not have been a plant. It may have been someone holding water to another person's mouth. Then things got worse, because care alone was not enough. If infection entered a wound, if parasites crawled through your gut, if pain made walking impossible, your tribe needed treatment. And the only pharmacy available was the landscape itself. Leaves, bark, roots, mushrooms, smoke, fire. Imagine being sick and someone hands you a bitter strip of bark. You do not know its chemical structure. You do not know the word anti-inflammatory. You only know that your grandmother used it, her grandmother used it, and the last person who chewed it stopped shaking by morning. Would you trust it? Ancient people did. Not because they were magical, but because they were observant. They watched animals. They tested plants. They remembered which roots dulled pain, which leaves calmed the stomach, and which berries sent someone into convulsions. Your medicine bottle has a printed label. Their medicine had a story. Everything changed when humans realized nature was not just food. It was a library. Take Ötzi the Iceman, the 5,300 years old mummy found frozen in the Alps. When scientists examined him, they discovered that he carried pieces of birch polypore mushroom on a leather cord. At first, that sounds like a strange ancient accessory, like the world's worst necklace. But Ötzi also had intestinal parasites, and birch polypore contains compounds with antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antiparasitic properties. In other words, he may have been carrying medicine. You carry pills in a plastic bottle. He carried fungus on a string. Same human problem. Very different packaging. But plants were only the beginning. When bark, roots, and mushrooms were not enough, ancient humans sometimes did something far more shocking. They cut into the skull. This practice is called trepanation, and it is one of the oldest known surgical procedures in human history. Archaeologists have found skulls with holes cut or scraped into them across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Some of those skulls show signs of healing around the edges. That means the patient survived. Think about that. Thousands of years before anesthesia, sterile operating rooms, or antibiotics, someone took a stone tool and carefully cut into another person's head. Why? Maybe to treat head injuries, maybe seizures, maybe terrible headaches, maybe mental distress. Their explanations were not modern, but the procedure was not always random. In some ancient groups, enough people survived to suggest that these techniques were practiced and passed down. Modern surgery happens under bright lights, with trained teams and machines beeping. Ancient surgery may have happened beside firelight, with a stone edge, a terrified patient, and a healer who had seen it done before. Would you have trusted them? You might have, if the pain was bad enough. So who carried all this knowledge? In many hunter-gatherer societies, the healer or shaman stood between medicine, memory, psychology, and the supernatural. To modern people, that can sound primitive. But in a world with no textbooks, no written records, and no hospitals, the healer was the community's medical archive. They knew which plant eased pain, which smoke drove insects away, which wound smelled dangerous, which fever needed warmth, which broken bone could be set, which ritual could calm a terrified patient long enough for the group to act. Modern medicine uses charts and protocols. Ancient medicine used memory and rhythm. Different tools, same goal. Keep the person alive. Then there was fever. Today, fever makes you nervous. You see the number rise, and your modern brain starts negotiating with the universe. Is this bad? Is this flu? Is this something weird you read about at 2 a.m.? But fever is not simply your body breaking down. It is part of your immune response. Your body raises its temperature because many pathogens struggle in hotter conditions. Of course, dangerous fevers need medical care. But the basic idea is incredible. Your body turns itself into a battlefield. Ancient people did not know about immune cells, viruses, or bacteria. But they could observe. They knew a feverish person needed warmth, water, rest, and protection. Today, you recover under a blanket while watching videos about ancient people. Ancient people recovered under animal skins while hoping a predator did not notice they were too weak to run. Same species. Very different sick day. So why does this matter? Because ancient medicine reveals something deeper than medical history. Humans survived not because we were the strongest animal, but because we became the animal that remembered together. A wolf had teeth. A bear had strength. A horse had speed. Humans had stories about which root helped pain. Humans had grandmothers who remembered the last bad winter. Humans had healers who watched wounds. Mothers who cooled dry lips with water. Brothers who carried the weak. Groups that chose not to leave someone behind. The real miracle is not that ancient humans found useful plants. The real miracle is that useful knowledge survived longer than the person who discovered it. Someone tried a bark. Someone watched a fever. Someone survived a wound. Someone died from the wrong mushroom. Someone remembered, and that memory became medicine. The next time you swallow a small white pill, you are not as far from the cave as you think. You are touching a chain that stretches back through pharmacies, laboratories, ancient camps, Neanderthal caves, and nameless hands reaching toward bitter leaves in the dark. Before we had hospitals, we had fire. Before we had prescriptions, we had memory. Before we understood disease, we understood care. And maybe that is the oldest medicine of all. Not the plant, not the stone tool, not the ritual. But when one patient looks too weak to survive, the other decides to stay, to share warmth, to offer water, to wait through the night. Because long before we learned how to cure the body, we learned something just as powerful. We learned not to leave each other behind.